for offenders and on new voting technologies. Our guest tonight is Umar Kalgo, former Secretary, NBA Benin-Kebbi branch, also a public affairs analyst and policy advocate. Thank you very much for joining me on the program, Mr. Kalgo. Good to see you.
My pleasure.
Right. So anyone conversant with the Nigerian electoral system and process since 1999 would admit that the biggest challenge has been how to ensure the integrity of votes by INEC. And you know, some Nigerians believe real-time transmission of results is the only way to achieving this. For you, why does it matter more than almost any other electoral reform Nigeria has attempted?
I think the issue of electronic transmission is a vital issue if you look at our election in Nigeria and the history of improvement of the election in Nigeria. Technology has always been the bedrock of this development that we have, starting with the card reader, and which is a phenomenal change. But what is happening now is the same saga being played out again and again. The reason why I say this is you find the critical key players that are shaping the improvement in our election are the INEC, the National Assembly, and the courts. And you tend to find at every point in time, the fresh idea used to come from INEC. And now when it comes, it will be tried in our courts. Then you find the law is lagging behind. Then you find the National Assembly coming forward to provide the necessary law to ensure such achievement. That's what happened with the card reader when it comes. And in the phenomenal change we have again was the IREF in the last election. And it is the main issue during which the court decided. So you find ourselves like in 2016, when the Supreme Court said that the card reader is vital in authenticating voters, but cannot determine overvoting, as at that time, because it was not enshrined in the Electoral Act. Then the National Assembly moved forward to enshrine it. From then on, it becomes the card reader can identify, overvoting. So at this juncture now, in the last election, you find out the rules, regulations guiding the conduct of 2023 election was very explicit in the IREF mandatory transmission of election. But there is no, background for such transmission in the Electoral Act. And that's why the Supreme Court ordered that that cannot be a reason for invalidating the election in the case of Atiku versus Tinubu 2023. So we are in that axis where Nigerians are looking a replica of what happened back regarding the card reader for the National Assembly to move forward and bridge this lacuna. I can assure you that I participated in election petition. The IREF was not perfect, but even at that, it has exposed a lot of things. In the election that I was involved then, there was 79% non-compliance of the transmission. But the ones that are transmitted, you can see the differences. Actually, a lot of irregularities when it comes to election happens at the collation centers. And that's why electronic transmission is very, very vital in those lapses.
All right. Well said, Mr. Kalgo, but let's face reality here. Does it not look like Nigerians, or as a nation, we're over-romanticizing technology as a cure for electoral fraud, especially when manipulation often occurs before voting day? Party primaries is there. Voter suppression is a challenge, and alleged security compromise. So what is it about real-time electronic transmission?
You see, the problems with our election are in lateral levels. Yes, there are ones that have to do with ethics and also sincerity of the voters. like voter buy-in and what have you. But that will not take us having a system that will ensure proper counting. If we have proper counting, we have really made an advancement. So you can see it is a lateral thing that we are pursuing. No doubt about that, because really, when it comes to voter buy-in, corruption, all these are things that come into play. But this technology have a way of catching up with some of these things. Just the way from the moment card reader came in, you can see the level and records of voting has dramatically changed in Nigeria. Before, the difference between the registered voters and the people who voted is very, very minimal. But now, hardly you find registered voters and the actual voting taking even 50% of the registered voters. So I think Nigerians are used to having these phenomenal changes when it comes to election. And they will romanticize having this to further fortify our democracy.
All
and
right.
at this juncture,
Quickly, Mr. Kalgo, so
I think
if real-time transmission is the only way, how do we then explain credible elections in jurisdiction that do not rely on it, but are emphasizing post-election audit and severe sanctions?
you see, if you look at countries with the most progressive elections, look at the time limits of when the results come. They were achieved because of proper and effective election. Hardly, when you talk of the US, despite how large it is, except in times when you have them, within 24 hours you have the results, even less than that. And you see, the election is supposed to happen in a transparent manner where even the parties can collect, so that you find in all developed democracies, before even the official result comes, the one who do this congratulates the leading one, because it is so transparent and everyone can follow. Well, that's what Nigerians are aiming to. But what we have with what the Senate is saying is going back to what happened with the card reader. Even if INEC made regulations for the conduct of election comes 2027, which says there should be electronic transmission, then the Electoral Act will supersede the regulation and it cannot stand. So that's what we are saying. What we have now, INEC is not at liberty unless if our courts have gone or have departed from their way of interpreting regulations and principal acts in Nigeria.